Celtics? Are we keeping hope alive with a newfound unity? How about it? Keeping their season alive after a demoralizing Game 3 blowout loss with a 116-99 victory in Miami. And afterward, the team pointed to trust and connectivity as aiding in the turnaround. Tatum went off 33, 10, and 11. Jayson, talk to me.
We didn't play well those first 3 games. We didn't deserve to win. But, we didn't want that to define us, define the season. And we still got a long uphill battle to go. But tonight was a good start, right? And, just try to carry this momentum towards Thursday.
Stay consistent. Do the same thing that I do, that we do after every game. We're going to listen to some music. We're going to drink some beers back there. We're going to go have some wine. We're going to smile. We're going to be in this thing together like we always are. And we're going to go get one on the road.
Game 5, Thursday in Boston. Stephen A., are you surprised the Celtics avoided the sweep last night?
I am surprised. I mean, I know that they're the better team talent-wise from top to bottom, and a lot of people have said that. But the way that they looked, particularly in Game 3 when they got beat down and embarrassed, they looked like they quit. Clearly they weren't on the same page as their coach. We took that into consideration. Obviously, the way that they were struggling from three-point range, we took that into consideration. We didn't see them go on an 18-0 run in a 3-minute-plus stretch the way that they did in Game 4 last night. Major props to them. Jaylen Brown still can't shoot the backside of the barn from the perimeter, but he was aggressive. He was finishing at the basket. He was D'ing up. He was doing a lot of other good things. Jayson Tatum showed up and reminded us of the star that he is. And then I'm looking at some of these numbers here. Did you know that Boston improved to 9-3 this postseason when shooting better than 35% from three-point range? But they're 0-5 this postseason when they shoot worse than 35% from three-point range. Obviously, that wasn't the case last night. They were making shots. They were making it from threes. They hit 4. They went 4 for 4 from three-point range in that 18-0 spurt as well. So I'm just looking at them right now, and I'm saying, okay, they're capable of it. I get it. But based on what we had seen in Game 3 and the fact that they had lost games 1 and 2 on their home court, I was shocked, pleasantly so I might add, that they showed up and reminded us of what the hell they're capable of, because that clearly wasn't the case, particularly in Game 3.
I don't know how Stevie can use the word shocked. I mean, you want to tell me a little surprised after that performance? Shocked? I mean,
yes.
These are professional athletes.
I don't give a damn.
These are professional athletes, Steve, coming off a horrendous defeat. If they got to have some pride. You can't leave them. They were so bad on the Game 3 that you figured they'd show up at least, listen, solidify the fact that they're competitive. So, again, when you're down 9 in the third quarter, what did I think? I probably thought Miami was going to close this out. But I did think that the Celtics would be a lot more competitive. I thought both Game 4s, both teams, the Lakers and Boston, would be right in the game in the fourth quarter. And that's what I was expecting. I didn't expect the Celtics to come from 9 down in the third quarter. But I can't say with Tatum, Brown, Horford, Brogdon's an adult in the room, Derek White, Smart. I mean, I have to figure that this team that played in the finals last year was not going to go down without a whimper, or was going to go down with a whimper. They were going to show me a little juice, a little competitive virtue. So I did think, Jay, that they would play a competitive game last night in Game 4.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that they were able to extend this series. First of all, it starts with Jayson Tatum, and he was fantastic last night. He's now played in 10 elimination games in his postseason career. He averages 30, 9 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and shoots 44% from 3. So that's where it starts. And he had a huge second half, hadn't scored a field goal in the fourth quarter prior to Game 4, went for 11, made 5 shots in that fourth, just took over down the stretch after he came back in the game. It was 88-83. Boston called timeout. Miami was in zone. Tatum got the ball at the foul line, hit a jumper. It was Boston the rest of the way. The other thing is, we've seen Boston be capable of having shooting nights like this. They're number 2 for the season in attempts, number 2 in makes, number 6 in three-point percentage. They are now 37-2 when they shoot 40% or better. I'm not surprised that Marcus Smart and Grant Williams, Al Horford, Derek White were all able to hit 3 or more threes. They've done that. They've been that for a large chunk of the season. The one thing I would say, and this is the difference to me, we can talk about Tatum's performance, we can talk about the three-point shooting. The difference for me was defensively in that second half. It was as connected as I've seen from the Boston Celtics. Their rotations, their help defense, swarming the paint, creating turnovers, allowing Jaylen Brown to get out in transition on an off shooting night and get some easy baskets. They had 6 block shots in the second half. I'm not surprised. Do I think they can make this a 7-game series? It remains to be seen, but this is the team that we all thought we were getting when we started the conference finals. This performance last night proved that they're capable of having nights like this.
8 for 32 shooting from three-point range. This is a team that's been shooting like 48% before last night from three-point range. That was the difference. I mean, coming into this game last night, Doggy, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat literally attempted the identical amount of shots, 258 field goal attempts going into last night. The difference was that Miami was burying stuff from 3, and the Boston Celtics clearly were not. I didn't expect Boston to be able to neutralize Miami from three-point range the way that they did, holding them to 25% shooting in that regard. I thought that based on what we saw in Game 3, certainly I expected them to come out competitive, to fight, and they were going to go down with a fight. I didn't expect them to get blown out in Game 4, but I didn't expect them to win that game based on what we saw in Game 3 and knowing they had lost Games 1 and 2 in Boston, and just the disconnect that we saw between the players and coaches. You got folks locally in Boston going off about Mazzulla at every turn, right or wrong. That's what they were doing. And there was a lot of questions about whether or not he was really touching on the pulse of this team. And we also heard how just grotesquely outcoached he was getting by Eric Spoelstra. We heard all of these things. So again, because of that, my attitude was Boston was going to come out swinging. They were going to be competitive. It was going to come down to the wire. But Miami had them, and I thought Miami would finish them last night. Props to the Boston Celtics for showing us otherwise, because I got news for you. They might win Game 5, and that'll put the pressure right back on Miami for Game 6, but they got to win Game 5.
You just said shocked. Now you're telling me you're not surprised they're competitive.
No.
Which one is it?
No.
You're all over the map here.
I am not over the map. I'm very, very clear. What I said was I was shocked they won. I expected the game to be competitive, but I thought Miami would close them out last night. I thought Boston was done. I thought they got their heart snatched from them in Game 3. I thought they were done. I was shocked that they showed up, went on that 18-0 run, and won this game last night. I wasn't shocked that it was close. I was shocked they won. See that? Won. W-O-N. Just to make sure, Dougie.
Dougie, I, for one, am not shocked that Stephen A. has contradicted himself.
Oh, he's all over the
map. Oh, please.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, God, you talk about me being all over the map. You're lost over there. What are you doing? Have a cup of coffee. You're a little yogurt.
Hold on.
You are lost.
I am feeling great. I am wide awake. And trust you me, the one thing I know about First Take is that Wednesday mornings with JJ Redick and Mad Dog Russo, I got to be ready. I've been ready.
That's a compliment.
I've been ready now.
Yeah.
Do you see me foggy out or anything?
He's just warming up.
I'm ready.
And Tatum, 2 huge threes. You made the point at 88-83. How about the 2 threes he made at 70-61?
Yep.
Those were huge threes. He came, and then White made the third one. They got the game tied so quick. But he made 2 huge threes at 70-61, back-to-back, which is important.
Well, it wasn't just him. It was Grant Williams in that third quarter. It was Marcus Smart in that third quarter. Actually, my favorite, you talked about the connectivity on defense, Stephen A. My favorite play of the entire game was Derek White's block from behind on Duncan Robinson. The reason it's my favorite play is because so many times throughout this series, the Boston Celtics big men have overreacted to Duncan Robinson or Max Strus coming off of dribble handoffs or pick and rolls and shooting pull-up threes. They've come all the way up, little pocket pass to Bam Adebayo. It happened in the first half last night, and he gets a dunk or he sprays it out to the corner for another 3. Trusting your defenders, because Boston has good perimeter defenders. Trusting guys like Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White to make those plays and make good contests and not overreacting, that shows a little bit of connectivity right there.
I got you.
We shall see. That series is far from over. We'll get to that a little later on.
Speaking of Tatum, though, showing up in the fourth quarter, JJ, can you count on him the rest of the way to continue to do that?
Well, if history tells us anything, it's that Jayson Tatum will show up in elimination games. The other point I want to make, because I've spoken on this throughout these playoffs, the Boston Celtics at times get stagnant offensively. And some of that, I talk all the time about body movement, ball movement. Some of that is just making simple passes. And if you look over the first 3 games, the number of passes they made, it was somewhere between 250 and 270 passes. Last night, they passed the ball over 300 times. That, to me, is when the Boston Celtics are at their best defensively. It also allows Tatum to make quicker decisions and drive and get into the paint and make layups.
Jayson Tatum, last 2 elimination games, 84 points, averaging 42 a game, 62% shooting, 52% from three-point range. That's superstar stuff right there.
Absolutely.
Doesn't quite do it all the time. That's the thing that drives you crazy.
I know that.
He's
Let's talk about the last 2 games. Last 2 elimination
Last 2 games. Game 7, Philly. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.